Hey y'all, thank you for tuning into another episode of Chats with Chee. I'm so excited to have you here, but I'm even more excited to have my girl in the studio. Y'all, I'm not gonna get with you long. We're gonna get ready to the episode.
Today's guest is the unstoppable Terri. She's been a full-time entrepreneur for 8 years, riding the waves of growth, evolution, and everything in between. Terri made bold moves to shift how people saw her, stepping out of her MUA title and fully owning her space in a brand new arena. She's a powerhouse in every sense of the word, and her journey is one that you need to hear. Hey y'all, I'm so excited to have my girl on the couch because we chatting, and I'm excited, but I'm not gonna do her introduction. I'm gonna let her do her own introduction, but she goes by the name Terri the Supernova. Hey girl.
Hey.
Tell us who you are.
Oh wow, I should have prepared. So I am Terri the Supernova. My real name is Terri Watson.
Yeah.
I'm like, the people gonna call me Supernova, and I'm okay with that.
Yes.
But I am a retired makeup artist turned content strategist. I was a makeup artist for 5 years. I think this is my 8th year of entrepreneurship in total. So 3 years of content and just trying.
Yes. No, you're doing. Okay. Let's be clear. You're doing.
Yeah.
Yes. I will say, okay, so you shifted to being a content strategist. Even when you was a makeup artist, I was definitely like a fan then. Because, girl, the content hit. The makeup looks hit. Everything was so good. Do you ever get people asking you to come back over there?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. They won't leave me alone.
Really? Would you ever pick up a brush for the people?
No, I don't. I wanted to make sure that I couldn't go back, which is, kind of nuts. But I'm a burn all the bridges kind of girl.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure that, I'm just kind of all in when I need to be.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't even have the resources,
Yeah. I could never do
as soon as I can make the decision, I said, I'm gonna sell my chair, I'm gonna sell these brushes, give away this makeup, gonna give away this makeup bag, the light, all the things. So
I feel like that's how you force yourself into doing something too.
Yeah, I kind of had no choice.
Yeah.
It's giving, do or die.
And baby, we're gonna do.
We're gonna do.
I love that though.
Yeah.
Was it scary?
That's a good question. It was definitely scary. I think there were moments where I kind of questioned if can I cuss?
Yeah.
I had fucked up. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, have I fucked up? So it wasn't necessarily scary in the sense of should I do this? There were no questions about if it should happen. It was more like I have jumped and do I have a parachute in my bag? That's kind of I did it first and then, wondered if it made sense, but yeah, I mean, there were moments where there were no clients, there were moments where there were just, no momentum. Also just trying to convince people that I was no longer a makeup artist. Yeah. Because people were still asking me if I could do makeup. It may also because I had left the makeup industry when I was at the peak of my business,
Sis.
I know.
You was crazy.
A little.
Not really.
Un
But,
poquito.
It worked out. Bro.
But yeah, so
Were you
I feel
tired?
like
how? Why?
I am a Gemini. Let me start there. And I'm not one of the people, I know it sounded like it just now, but I'm not one of the people to blame all of my doings on my sign. But I do feel like I wanted a fresh start. I feel like I mastered makeup. I could do it with my eyes closed, hands tied, blindfolded in the back alley.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
But I feel like ultimately I was tired.
Yeah.
Also, I was already coaching, and that was a big part of my, I guess, way to make money.
Yeah.
And so I realized that, being a makeup artist, I was really trading my time for money and having to show up, a client will absolutely have you walking up 32 flights of steps because they elevator
Don't give
broke.
a damn.
And it's like, I got chair,
Baby,
bag,
lights.
me.
Okay.
You know, what about
Baby.
me? How am I supposed to get up these stairs?
She's heavy and you don't care.
You know,
You're just sitting there.
Exactly.
Help me with a bag.
Help me with a bag. Okay.
That'd be great. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
I think it's very, I don't know the word I'm looking for right now, but I commend you because it takes a lot to like make a decision, because I'm still telling myself like, this is my last year doing hair. But I commend you because I'm with that too. Like, burn this bitch down so you can't come back. It's nothing here but ashes, actually.
Yeah.
So you gotta go. So
it's not easy.
No.
Oh boy.
What was the hardest part?
Like I said, I think just convincing people that I was no longer a makeup artist and that they should see me in this new light. I also think, what was the hardest part? Oh, just really trying to get grounded in what my offers were. Like, what services am I offering? What am I good at? I think that was like the hardest part. Like, I know that I want to talk about content, but I also know that I want to talk about messaging and helping people understand like how they can communicate their value to their community and their, online audience. But I don't know if people understood that messaging was important. All they wanted was
the visuals,
more engagement.
Yep.
They said, where the people at? Why they not
Follow
commenting?
me. Yeah.
Exactly. So I feel like the hardest part was nailing down my own messaging and finding a middle ground between messaging and content so that people could create better content while also actually posting it. And, utilizing their platforms as a way to grow their business.
I will say, do you ever have any type of like social media pet peeves?
Yeah. Too many.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it get on your nerves?
I feel like I'm on The Office for some reason. Like, I keep wanting to look in the camera like, girl,
please.
I
love the dramatic effect because I will be the one. Like, we were supposed to do, cut this out, but we were supposed to do a campaign yesterday of that, where it was like an office theme, but super cunty, super dramatic. And I don't know, did you see Law Roach where he just did a campaign with Alex something? But they did that.
Alex
and it was
Earl?
like, it wasn't Earl. It started with a B. She's a jewelry designer in New York. But super cute. But they did that where it was like an office theme type of chaotic through the city promotion for whatever. And I was like, we're totally gonna do that for the podcast because I love those in the cameras. Like, do you see what's going on? I love those. Like, zoom in.
What happened?
Yeah. Child.
Okay.
Life.
Okay.
Like,
all right.
life was lifing.
Got it.
That was a lot, but we're gonna do it though. Like, we're gonna do it.
Coming soon.
Coming soon
To a theater near you.
on
Right.
the calendar.
Exactly.
Yes, we're gonna
right.
set the date. Amen. We're gonna do it. But
Okay. What was we talking about?
we was talking about social media. Social media.
Oh, pet
eats.
peeves.
Yeah. What are your top? I ain't gonna do all of it, but your top two
Top two.
social media icks.
As far as social media in general or the people on social media?
Ooh, let's break it up. Social media and the people.
Oh, Lord. It's about social media. To be quite honest with you, it feels very dystopian. Like, the fact that everybody's just like posting content and wants to be a content creator. I love it on one hand, but on the other hand, I just feel like it's not good on the brain.
No.
Not long term.
It ain't.
It ain't. It ain't. And so I think as far as the people go, I think I only have one ick as far as social media goes. But for the people, I think my biggest ick is how people don't want to, like, they say they want to, be online. But they don't. It's a lot of work.
You don't want this.
You don't want that.
You don't want this.
You don't want it. Just
And do
stick
you know
to
what
the,
you want?
better questions, better piece of Papa John's.
Yeah.
So, I feel like the
God.
people don't know what they want. They just want what they see. And I think it's important to be inspired and, have people that kind of show you what your next level could look like. But I also think that what gets in the way of a lot of people's success is seeing a thing and not creating your own how. Because the truth is, like, you'll see what, you know, somebody else got going on, but do I really want to get it how they got it? You know, am I willing to put in the same work? You know, so, and the answer is no. You know,
don't.
You don't want to do it.
I went through hell.
You know,
I made it
exactly. So.
Oh my God. Do you ever find yourself, because I know you on that side, we followers, but for the people who don't know you, let me tell the people.
Yeah.
Terry's a creative genius. I feel like the stuff that comes out of your brain, even the way I like too that you're an honest girly. And when you even use ChatGPT, you tell the people. But I feel like even knowing how to use ChatGPT is a science. Like, you got to know how to make her work. You know what I'm saying? But you're super creative. So that's what I want to tell y'all. Yeah. She's super creative. Good time. But do you ever find yourself where you scrolling and you see stuff and it looks like it's a carbon copy of you?
No.
Really? I like that. No one's out here duplicating you.
No, I mean, there are plenty of people that are content strategists.
Yeah.
And there are plenty of people that are content strategists that absolutely know what they're talking about, and you know, I respect them. But other than that, like, I don't think that my brain is ever like, oh, they're copying me. Also, I think that social media is a place, or has been created to be a place where if you see something, you recreate it, you know, especially with trending audios, trending sounds, you know, dances, all those things. It's like, you see that, you redo it. Also, you know, creating skits from things that happen in real life. I think as many creatives are online, their, I guess, perspective of social media is that if I see this thing, then it needs to come from my perspective now. And so I am okay with that responsibility to create so that other people feel inspired. And I think that it would be irresponsible of me to, unless somebody just like straight up like stole that whole thing, you know, but other than that, like, I don't feel like I can be mad. You know, I've seen some influencers, you know, kind of be online and like, you know, this girl stole my outfit, but no, you said you was influential.
You influenced them,
you know,
to get the outfit.
It was on purpose.
Yeah,
so
they seen it and they wanted it.
They wanted the whole outfit.
You
so
tagged the links.
So wasn't I supposed to go buy it? Yes or no? You know,
you didn't want me to. Okay, so you're not actually an influencer.
Exactly, and that's okay. Like, and just stand by that. You know, but I feel like everybody is influential in their own way, and even the people that are watching my content, I think they should be more responsible, you know, not to just take, but also, like, you know, reinterpret in a way that is allowing them to be their own creative. I think that's more of my perspective. Like, I want people to express their own creativity and be intentional about what they want to reproduce, you know.
I like that.
For the sake of their own mental health. Yeah,
for your mental health.
You know.
What is, well, in your own words, do you have like a secret formula for like how you, I want to say how you can like curate your messaging and then get to a point where you're successful on socials? Or is it just more so like the internal work, like you got to tap into yourself? Or is it a combination?
I think it's a combination. I think it's, you know, my motto is better questions, better piece of Papa John's. Yes. So I think ultimately, like, you have to be able to ask yourself better questions so that you can get better, like, closer to the root. Yeah. So if, you know, what you thinking?
I just thought about, y'all, I was her client before. We were in that session, and then when I started crying, I was like, Terri, I don't know. Because you kept asking questions, but it literally pushed me to a point where eventually I did have like that aha moment, but it literally was like, stop asking me so many fucking questions. But I was on the hindsight looking at it now because I feel like I'm in it.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, you are.
Girl, because last year we were,
you know, we was... I could see the horizon. I don't know if you...
Not quite. She wasn't there. So now it makes sense. Yeah. So I'm a firm believer of what your motto is, because it is better questions, because I would be like, oh, well, I want to have a 6-week program. You're like, but why? What's that going to be about? What is it going to look like? And I'm like, I don't know. Can we just put the flyer out there?
Yeah.
It's like, no, bitch,
No, we can't.
We actually can't. And how are we going to make content if you don't even know why you want it? So, make it make sense.
And that's okay. You know, I feel like it's okay not to know, but still be asked the right questions so that you can figure it out.
Yeah.
I think that's maybe one of the biggest challenges that I've experienced as being like my own business owner. And like, you know, I have really great friends who kind of push me to ask me better questions. And it's hard, you know. It's hard because I think the immediate reaction is that you want to be defensive. You know, you want to be upset that this person is asking you all these questions, especially because it, you know, it also feels like an attack on what you know, you know, because it feels like you should have had the answer, but you don't, you know. And so all of my clients, you know, be crying because I ask them, you know, all of these questions, literally all of them. And I'm like, you know,
they ask with love.
I am, you know, with love. And, you know, not everybody takes that the right way, or, you know, I've had clients that, you know, we didn't work out because of my approach. You know, I think it can be fluid, but it has to almost be fluid enough so that I can allow you time to, you know, figure it out. But yeah, I understand that it's hard, but I wouldn't help you do anything that I haven't gone through myself, you know, so.
That's what I do like. Where you're, even if they don't know your story, it's like you tell us enough, even in your own content, where it's just like, babe, I'm not one of them. I didn't just woke up today and decided like, hey, I'm gonna do this, and then I put out an ebook, and then I made y'all buy my ebook. It's like, no, I actually went through the steps too. So I'm pushing you because I had to push me too. So I like that you lead with it. That's good. That's real good. That's why I say you're an honest girlie.
I also feel like, you know, you can't be pushed without accountability and support, you know. So I try to make sure that I'm supportive, especially while you're figuring out what is it that I'm trying to say to these people. Especially because there are so many formulas already out there that lead you to nothing, you know, especially when it comes to, like, I guess, what am I trying to say? Messaging or what to post online. Like, you know, people will tell you, well, you just need to post 3 times a day, and they just kind of give you like these random cookie cutter solutions, and then you realize like it's not sustainable. So I feel like for a lot of solopreneurs, actually, I'll say it like this. Whenever I'm thinking about content and helping people, my first thought is the fact that you are a solopreneur. Like that's the case for most of my clients. Like, they're not working with, you know, 5, 6, 7 people on their team. It's typically just them. So, you know, how can you create a better lifestyle around the content that you're creating? Or, you know, spend less time on social media because you need to be producing more. And, you know, trying to, you know, kind of close the gap between idea and execution, so that you can become more confident over time.
I ain't gonna lie, that was one of your words too that stuck with me, and I appreciate you for that.
Of course.
That window of time, because even with this, like, I made up my mind and said, you know what, I'm gonna do it, and I set this date, I stuck to it, and if you couldn't come, you couldn't. If you could, the people who can, that's all I'm worried about. I'm not worried about the in between. But it was literally like, made up my mind, set the date, called him, brought the outfits, booked the, like, did all the things, and I'm like, all right, let's just sit back and wait on everything. And if I would have did the same thing that I've been doing for years, where it's like, I'm gonna have a talk show one day, I'm gonna have a podcast one day, and then it's like, all right, girl, put it on the calendar. Like, when you gonna do it? And this was the first time that I can say, like, a big thing that I'm just like, fuck that. I thought about it today. Book it tomorrow. So
I think this is part 2 of the podcast.
Yeah, because it's the audio and then this the visual. So.
Well, no, I'm saying, like, when you started your podcast, I think that was your first moment of, like, you know what, I'm not going to think about it.
I forgot, because that was a 1-2, and you made my first cover. Go see. It's a good time.
What can I say?
Yeah, she's that girl. You do that. Like, that's one thing I absolutely love. Like, you really are, but I like how you just I don't like to use the word humble. But it's like,
yeah, because I'm not humble.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, you just with the shits. It's like, I do the things. Yeah, I like that better. Like, you with the shits with it, and I like it.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I'm definitely not humble. I also tell my clients not to be humble because, you know, I think humility is important to some extent, you know, like being gracious, accepting things your way, you know, those kind of things. But, you know, be boastful, brag about what you do so that, you know, people can be on board faster, you know.
That. Because I had to unlearn that. And that, especially being like my upbringing, things like that, like be seen, not heard. And don't offend people if you talk about yourself too much and all the things. But at some point, it's like, but I feel like that's what keeps holding me back. And then
just a little.
So now, no, I'm going to tell y'all. And you used to push me to that too, where it's like, you got a client today? Post it. What are you doing? Like, somebody paid the invoice? Post it. Nobody say you got to show the invoice, but hell, show these people folks out here paying me.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, now I'm so comfortable with it where I'm just like, hell yeah, we recorded today. Yeah. Make a post about it.
And also, it just becomes normal. You know, I think especially when you're switching gears as far as like, you know, moving from service providing to coaching or just switching gears in general, you know, creating a podcast, you kind of need to create evidence and receipts, you know. So ultimately, like, I want to eventually feel like people paying me, you know, thousands of dollars is normal. It's like normal. That's the case, you know. That is it's what like, this is. Exactly. You know?
When you call me, you already know what it is.
You already know, like. And that's okay. You know. I'm glad you know.
Yeah.
So we can move through this process much faster.
I don't have to sell you on it.
You can make your decisions how you want. You know. Maybe you want to work with me. Maybe you don't. Exactly. But we kind of figured that out a lot faster.
Exactly.
You know?
Because we stayed here.
Yeah. Exactly.
I ain't gonna lie. I'm that type of confident with hair. And I'm learning how to like sprinkle that in my new arenas because now
you know that was the case for me too though. Like
really,
oh my gosh, I loved being a makeup artist because I could just post and go and tell you that this lip, you know, you wish you had this lip on, these lashes, you wish you had these lashes, you wish your foundation matched the rest of your body, you know. But things really changed because number one, I feel like I had an identity crisis, you know, because I'm no longer this thing, you know. This who
am I?
Who am I? I'm no longer a makeup artist. Who am I supposed to be?
Yes.
And then, you know, just not being sure of what to post anymore because it didn't need to be makeup anymore, you know. And kind of, I didn't want to, you know, rely on that as a crutch. I wanted to show up more and talk to the camera more, but you know, those kind of things took me years, you know, versus like, you know, when I'm working with my clients, you know, y'all talking to the camera in 2 months.
Okay. Cause it was like
let's get it done.
Go. What are you doing? Because I definitely sat there like, I don't know what to post. I just told you what to post, but I still don't know. It's like, you do go through that identity crisis. And because even I was so afraid, but I think now, I'm not going to say fed up, but it's kind of like I'm fed up with myself. Because it's like, girl, either we can sit here and we can talk about it and keep talking about it and talk about how it's not working, or we can turn water into wine. Let's go. Like, let's get to producing the wine. Like, we're tired of running water. So
and we have more options than to be confused. You know, I think sometimes when we don't know what to do, the state of confusion feels actually more comfortable, you know. Versus just doing the work, you know. I think something for me this year was learning that I could handle more and I could create more without deciding that I don't have the capacity. You know, I think that's the case for a lot of us as entrepreneurs. We just assume that we ain't got
can't do it.
Can't do it, you know.
How do you, this was one of the questions and you kind of told me, but how do you balance that? Like if you're taking on more, because you be working, sis, like you be in the field. Thank you. I love it. Like, how do you commit? Okay, let's see. How do you commit to that without like
time? Yeah, time. I think, and that's so vague. What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say like, being a better steward of my time and not feeling rushed. I think that historically, I used to feel like something needed to happen in 24 hours, you know. If I wanted a website, it needed to be done in 48 hours. Right now. Hello. So, yeah, now I feel like, you know, it's more like I have every day. Right now, all I got is today.
Yeah.
You know, and all I got is these 4 hours that I'm back to work. And outside of that, hey, I'll see you tomorrow.
I'll see you tomorrow. I ain't got it. Not today. No. I like that. Are you a calendar girly or a pen and paper girly?
Definitely not pen and paper.
Yeah.
Definitely not pen and paper when it comes to my calendar. Okay. I do have like a everything notebook, which is really just a sketchbook. I can't do lines.
Me either. I do dots. Like I do the little grid, little dot thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I don't like lines either.
No lines whatsoever. Yeah.
But you like blank paper.
Blank.
Love that.
Blank.
It's a blank canvas. Yes.
So I'll be writing upside down. Like I get back in there like, wait, this is
okay. The wrong orientation, baby. Like, damn. I love that though.
Yeah, but I think that kind of helps me to stay focused. Also, like, especially when I have a lot to do that day. One thing I will use is my notes though.
Period.
Yeah, okay. Maybe I'm not in my like pen and paper era, you know, all the time, but like I will do like this week's to do.
Yeah.
And try to stick to the fact that I can get them done over the week instead of trying to rush and get them done over 2 days.
I like that. As an entrepreneur, how do you keep yourself organized though and create structure in your life? Because I think when people think entrepreneurship, they think, oh, you're just not doing anything. You're just sitting around taking naps all day. But what does it look like for you, and what does your structure look like?
I don't know how to answer that. I mean, if it's not in my Google Calendar, I'm not there.
Yeah. You literally told me that about this. Like, sis, send me an invite.
Yeah, I said, Chee, you want to hop on the phone but not send me a calendar invite? I won't be there. No matter how many confirmations you give me.
I'm not there.
As long as it's on the calendar, I'm there. But if it's not,
I forgot.
Yeah.
I clean forgot. And I know I said yes a week ago.
A week ago.
That was a week ago.
I might have said yes yesterday.
Literally. But that was yesterday.
Last night.
Today is today and I forgot.
Yeah.
No, that's a real thing.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. I'm kind of obsessed with that too. Because I will set an alarm. Because I'll look at my calendar before I go to bed. So then I know what time I want to get up. And that's just me. I'm trying to get back into being like, get up at this time. Do you get up at the same time every day?
No.
Yeah.
I also don't use alarms. So I get up maybe like 6:30 every day, feed my cat.
Just with the vibes?
Just with the vibes. Just like, oh.
When you get up.
You know?
I'm here.
Yeah.
I feel like that's how you get enough sleep though, because then you're not.
But I'm out by 9.
Yeah.
You know, so the girls, you know, may hit the club.
Okay.
TT here. Yeah. She got her chamomile tea.
Bye, man.
You know, love y'all.
The event was great.
You know,
I gotta go.
I gotta go.
I love it.
Yeah, so I'm not out late.
Yeah.
But honestly, truly, even if I am, it's giving 7 at the latest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
You're not waking up that early?
I mean, for the most part, naturally, my body does. Yeah, but if I go to bed late the night before, then I can't really sleep past 9. So, but I be feeling like if I wake up at 9 o'clock, I ain't even gonna hold you. I feel like the whole day is done, and I be like, to-do list what? I can't.
The day over.
It's literally over. So at this point, I might as well just like chill. That's what I might as well do.
Yeah.
That's where my mind goes because no. So I do. My issue is to go in bed at night. Like, babe, wrap it up. You need to be in bed because sometimes it'll be an 11 or maybe it might be a 1, and then I be
1 is crazy.
Ask me what I be doing. A lot of who knows.
You be on your phone, don't you?
I probably do. And scrolling and doing the things.
See, I have a cutoff of 2 hours before bed, so I try.
Yeah.
Okay. Give it fingers crossed every night.
But that's the structure.
Yeah.
I like that.
Also, I am a book reader. Are you a book reader?
I'm getting back. I was, but I got off. But yeah, I'm getting back.
That helps me because I feel like my brain needs to be doing something else.
Yeah.
Besides scrolling my phone. Also, I feel like whenever I'm scrolling my phone, I just don't feel excited to go to sleep. Like
Yeah.
I want to be like, oh, you know,
This-
yawning,
right.
closing the
Ooh,
book,
she
turning
ready
over.
now.
Exactly.
Yeah. You know what's so crazy? That is very true because I do be having like my sauna blanket times, and I'll be like reading the book in my sauna blanket, and but those are the times where I'm trying to read my book, but now I'm extra relaxed. I'm about to go to sleep.
You about to go to sleep.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a little nap. Set that alarm so I cannot fall asleep in here. But I'm gonna actually implement that before going to bed because that does make sense. Because when I do read, I do get a little yawny, and I'm like,
Yeah, you know, I done read this same page 13 times already. Let me go to sleep.
Why am I starting back at the top?
I done missed what James and Joseph done did twice.
Fuck. I gotta go back. Oh my God, I thought that was me. I feel normal.
No, relatable.
So I love that for us. That's
Relatable
good.
content.
I love that. I got a game for us.
Okay, let's do it.
Let me pull her up though. Let me see. Let me scroll. Just cut this part out.
Yeah.
All right.
This is a safe game. Don't have me playing Reach Your Roulette.
Hell no. This is not that show. You know what's so crazy? They're just now. Chad, she delayed as hell. We done had the whole conversation and she just not producing it. It's fine. Hey girl. Ego to money and mindset.
Okay.
That's cute. I'm trying to scroll to the question, child, because she done put together our whole episode. She missed it. All right. Okay. Game segments. There we go. Host introduces the game. Oh, not Terry's 2 cents. Let me read through it so I can know where we going.
Okay.
I'm going to read it to you. Just
Take your
cut
time.
this part out. Yeah. Here's how it works. I'll throw out a word or a topic, and I want you to give me your 2 cents on it. And the first thought, short reaction, or a piece of advice that comes to mind. Okay. Sounds good. I'm going to reread it. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm going to reread it. You ready? Okay. So the name of this game is going to be Terry's 2 cents.
Okay.
So the nature of this game is I'll throw out a word or a topic, and I want you to give me your 2 cents on it. The first thought, short reaction, or a piece of advice that comes to mind.
Okay.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. So I need to be quick.
Quickly,
Okay.
right now.
All right.
Okay. Money. What's Terry's 2 cents on money?
Get to it. Get you some.
Get you some sis. Are you afraid to talk about money on socials?
Am I afraid? No, I've talked about it before, you know, especially when I was a makeup artist, because the girls was charging $35 for full faces, and I said, you ain't gonna have no money, you know,
You're gonna be broke. Okay.
but I mean, I talk about it now because a lot of my, you know, focus is to help people make money with their content, and not just from reselling courses, but actually have something valuable. So yeah,
I love that.
yeah,
Valuable content is a big thing. Cause honey, I definitely was in that. Sometimes I still be on that, but where it's like, let's just post to say we post today, but no.
Oh no, ma'am.
Like, take a step back.
That's probably illegal in my brain.
Don't do that no more.
Yeah, don't do that, because
even know
it's like just posting just for the sake of posting makes you feel icky, because you're like, I'm just glad I got that out, but now you don't even like the content, so why put out something you don't like?
I want to archive it.
You know, I would do that.
Yeah. I'm probably gonna go back.
Okay.
Yeah. Fear.
Ciao. Fear. She's strong. She is strong.
She's a big thing.
Okay.
That's a bad bitch.
She heavy. Okay.
She's a stallion.
Stallion for sure. But I think you have to work to know, like, your fear will always exist, and you cannot allow it to sit down. You know, fear is natural. It's a part of the human brain. Like, it's a part of the way that you keep yourself safe. You know, for us, like, you know, there are no longer saber-tooth tigers, so that, you know, maybe was something that we were afraid of. Now all we got is emails and, you know, responding to comments and DMs.
That's it.
And that feels a lot more scary than, you know, anything else. So I think it's more so about determining what you'll allow to show fear that you're going to be okay. I always recommend, like, After Earth for people to watch with Will Smith and Jaden Smith.
Missed
where
it.
they
Amazon. No plug.
No.
Yeah.
Unless. I always recommend After Earth.
Okay.
14 Peaks, Nothing is Impossible. That's a documentary. After Earth is like a regular movie, scripted movie. And then The Deepest Breath. I feel like for those two documentaries, the last two that I mentioned, you get this opportunity to see that people are passionate about things where their life is on the line.
Wow.
You know, and I like, why are you at the bottom of the ocean, Books?
Did it take you to this moment for real to wake the fuck up?
You know, why are you at the bottom of the ocean?
Oh my God.
You know, why are you at the tallest mountain?
Almost dead.
You know, real close to it. And but it's like these people are so passionate, and it's like, you know, you kind of have to question your own passion, because are you willing to overcome your fears in order to make this thing happen? So yeah, I think, you know, I just don't let fear come in and sit her purse down. I tell her, actually, we got things to do.
Get the fuck up.
You know,
like, come on.
Come on.
You might come through the door, but bitch, we're going right back out. Like, the answer is no.
Yeah.
I love that, because no, don't make her comfortable.
No.
No, I don't like that. She's too big anyway.
Yeah.
You can't take up space in here. No, ego.
Oof. Ego and fear,
Yeah.
they're cousins.
First cousin.
First cousins.
Yeah.
First cousin for sure. Ego. I feel like, you know, I've had moments where I've just been too proud to do, you know, certain things. Like, I remember 2019, I was like, my business not making any money. And that was when I was a makeup artist. And I was like, well, I need me a job. So I was telling a friend. She said, well, you come work at this barbecue spot. And I said, no.
Oh, well, on another
See you Monday.
Yeah. Because I actually need some money.
Because I need some money.
So
Where is the money on? Okay.
That's the real tea.
So yeah, you know, I feel like I'm never too far above anything that is gonna keep me stable. Is gonna provide me with some sort of like relief or reprieve. Luckily for me, I was only at that job for 30 days because, you know, I got the opportunity with Stacey Abrams, or I think right after that, like Bronner Brothers, Love and Hip Hop. And I was just like, I was so sad. You know, it's funny because I was so, my ego worked in reverse again. So I'm telling Love and Hip Hop, like, I can't do this. I got to deliver these, I got to deliver these baked beans.
Okay, oh my God. Because honest woman.
Yeah, I gotta.
She still want to show up for the people.
I'm trying to deliver these baked beans in the back of my car.
The ribs are hot.
The ribs are hot.
And y'all
I left the
me.
ranch.
Okay. And you're calling me.
And
I gotta go back.
You know, and so I was worried that I was gonna be moving backwards into instability if I decided to pursue makeup again. Ooh. But girl, you don't want to be at this damn barbecue spot.
Yes,
Let's be so for
make
real.
it make sense.
For a second.
Yes.
2 seconds maybe.
Stay here.
Yeah.
Yeah, because what we doing?
Yeah.
Girl, it's funny how that works.
Yeah.
It's like, why do we think like that? The brain is funny.
The brain is
funny. She's funny. So, balance.
I don't think it exists. To be quite honest. At all. I think you just gotta take it day by day. You know, I don't think there is a such thing as balance, like where things can be 50-50. You know, that's like true. When you think of like a, you know, balancing beam or something, like there isn't ever going to be equal weight on both sides. That's, you know, very true. You're going to be maybe super hyped up, ready to get all your work done with your matcha, you know, and you get 40 things done tomorrow. It might give bed.
Literally, she's taking a nap because she worked.
It might give bed all day.
She worked
bed
so
in the book.
Hard. Okay, bed
in the
book.
Yeah.
Because on this rainy day right here, I would have probably been bed and booking.
Soon as we get home.
Week off.
Okay.
No, I am so here for that. Well, that's it.
I love it. That was good.
We did it.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming.